All right, so Golden State Social Justice Warriors. Most of this episode probably ain't even gonna be basketball related, honestly, because blame Black Panther. Sorry, it is what it is. But let's get into the basketball first. The first thing I wanted to cover was the All Star weekend. Did you get a chance to catch any of it?
No, I caught the highlights of the All-Star game last night when I got back to the room. So I did see the highlights. I didn't get to watch the actual game. I caught the highlights of the dunk contest. I can't tell you who won the three-point contest. So, yeah. Devin Booker won. Okay.
Yeah.
So, damn, Clay didn't. I thought Clay would have
He
pulled
put
that
up
up.
28 he put up 28 to beat him.
Yikes. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I didn't.
Like, all right.
But I did want to ask you, what did you think about the new All-Star format? You like the picking teams better than the East versus West?
I like that it caught some sort of competitive spirit, honestly. Like the game was fairly close throughout. Teams would make runs. It wasn't like too serious. It was basically how they play in the Drew League.
Yeah, but people are
Or
talking
like,
about it was more competitive. Like the niggas put up damn near 300 points. Like, was it
yeah,
that?
that's because they're not trying to get hurt, and they can all fucking shoot.
And the last, I mean, I did the highlights I saw. It did look like it got kind of tight there in the last couple of minutes because it was coming down to the wire. But
DeMar DeRozan, he didn't come through when he needed to.
but it looked like everybody was hitting threes from what I saw.
Yeah, Joel Embiid was hitting them, like netting them. So it was just a shootout, which was cool as fuck to see. But and the fact that the shootout was close made it even more exciting. But it's still an All-Star game. They only gonna play so hard, and I don't want them to play so hard.
Where's that were interesting? Kyrie playing back with LeBron and Russell and KD and all of that shit. It looked like Russell and KD were getting along a little bit.
Yeah.
Doing some of it. So, because normally it looked like Russell want to kill his ass every time they play against each other.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they squashed the beef. I hope they have, but it was good to film enough and all of that shit.
Yeah, I mean it was the dunk contest was actually pretty dope.
That's I think I've been seeing getting shitted on. I was watching ESPN today and it was just like, well, these aren't the All-Star games of old, and I'm like, what do y'all niggas want? Like, okay, these niggas are way more athletic, doing way better dunks than Michael Jordan, and like, what do y'all want these niggas to
not
do?
even that they're doing better dunks, right? Like, part of it is the excitement feature, or like the newness of it. And as far as dunking, like, there's only so much you could fucking do. But like when you do look at, even when you go back and look at them do like retro dunks and shit, they have so much more definition on that shit. Like, did you see Larry Nance's Rock the Cradle?
Yeah, that he did for his dad.
He looked better than his daddy. He looked better than his daddy when he did it.
Yeah, but that's so you would So you would say the dunks of old are better than what these young cats are doing now?
No, I just think they were more exciting, and I think since maybe Vince Carter destroyed.
To me, that's when it went downhill. After Vince did his thing, it hasn't been the same.
Because it can only go downhill from there. Although, like, I'm not gonna lie, Blake jumping over a car was fucking dope. Showmanship, like this year, with the I forgot who it was that threw it off one backboard, caught it on off the other.
Now that was tight. I did see that.
That was dope. The 360 under the leg, like that shit was dope.
Like jumping over Kevin Hart shit was like, Kevin Hart is like 3'11".
Yeah. Honestly, it was just the lift off that he got, because he caught that shit behind him and he just and you can see when he landed, like he put some force behind that shit. It looked great.
The Larry Nance,
so much you can do.
The Larry Nance dunk, the double tap off the glass, I thought was kind of cool.
Yes.
Because he did the shit so quick. When I first saw it, I didn't know what the fuck he did. I was like,
this nigga do a regular ass dunk. Nigga, let me in a dunk contest.
What kind of dunk is that? And then when they slowed it down, I was like, oh shit, that nigga double tapped it off the glass.
Yeah, that was wild.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I mean, they have to get a lot more creative, but the reality is there's only so much you can do with a dunk. Like, there's only so many, and niggas ain't hitting 720s through under the legs. Like, what?
But that's my thing. Like,
double under the
really,
leg.
where do we go from here? Till what? Somebody comes out and does a triple cartwheel. Like it's again, like
it's a showcase of athletic talent. Honestly, like it's not just the dunks that look dope to me. It's the definition in which they do them. You know what I mean? Like just the lift and like the ability to bring it back so far. Like that's
yeah.
It wasn't doing that back then.
I was more of I enjoyed more of the power dunkers, the Sean Kemps. Like them niggas was cold.
Yeah, those
them the dudes I enjoyed.
Vicious.
Yeah, it was like that, just that power behind it. Even Dominique could come through and just.
Yeah, you hear the dunk, you feel the dunk. Like you just be watching that shit on TV, like, ooh.
Exactly, that look right there. Oh shit,
God.
Yeah. But I will admit the Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine dunk contest from a couple of years ago was dope. Yeah. I think they showed out. I'm trying to think of any more actually stand out.
I feel like people's expectations of dunk contests since the Vince Carter shit have just skyrocketed.
Yeah. Like I don't know, when old boy did the tribute to Vince Carter, it was like we seen that already though. That I get you paying homage to him, but
yeah, and he didn't look as clean. Like he didn't look as defined when he did it.
Not at all.
Vince was just, excuse me, bam. It just didn't look. Nah, that was one that should have stayed in the idea basket.
So we'll see, But I mean, I give them cash credit, man, because
the 360, like that shit is the most underrated dunk of the dunk contest to me. 360 under the legs, like maybe that shit's special for me because I used to like. I think I was about 14, 15. I started practicing a 360 under the leg layup. I wasn't tall enough to dunk. Like it was just some shit to do. But like watching him go through, like I knew exactly what the fuck he had to do. I knew exactly as soon as he come under his leg, he has to yank that motherfucker up real quick or he's not gonna make it. Like it's difficult. The degree of difficulty on that one. He turned against his body.
Yeah.
Which makes it easier to go under your legs, but doesn't really make it easier to dunk.
Because that's the one dunk, I think. Because who was the first to do that? That was J.R. Ryder, that did the first in between the legs dunk.
Yeah.
In the dunk test. Yeah, and just to see the way that dunk has evolved over the years that's some beautiful shit, man. Like,
yeah.
Because I thought when J.R. did that shit, I was like, that shit don't get no better than that. Like, that was some cold when I first saw that one. Like, now y'all think add 360s to the shit, like, shit.
360 behind the back, under the leg, reverse.
There was a time we didn't think it got no better than Michael Jordan jumping from the free throw line.
Yeah, that's true.
So, the nigga actually kind of stepped over the free throw line.
I mean, the only person who I remember actually going over the free throw line was Brent Barry.
Did he went the actual line, right?
He went behind. He was behind the line.
Behind the line. I'm about to go back and pull that shit up. I remember
like slightly behind the line, if my memory serves me correctly. Let me pull that up right now.
That nigga is a dunk contest winner. Damn, got all about old Brent Barry. This nigga didn't even take his warm-up jacket off when he did this shit.
He didn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh no, he was on the line. He was above the line. He
was on so he was on it.
The line. Back
I think Jordan stepped over it a little bit, if I remember
Jordan definitely stepped over.
Yeah, he was
okay.
Right.
Well, I stand corrected. I don't remember who did it and actually stayed behind the line. It was somebody else.
Because that dunk has been done a few times.
Yeah. You taking off 15 feet from the rim like that shit's impressive. Why not? But,
all right, but All-Star Weekend all together, what'd you think? Impressed? You like it?
It was a good All-Star Weekend. For me, it's just a chance to like check out a few interviews and see them interact with each other. Like that's the fun part now, because they all fucking friends. Like this is the AAU generation of basketball. Like this is all friends, and it's cool. Like to see them just hang out and be joking around and stuff.
So the one thing, let me ask you this: the one thing going around is, do basketball players do they have too much power? Because a lot of what I'm seeing online, they think like people like LeBron James, everybody's controlling their own narrative these days, as far as how we perceive them and things of that nature. And there's all of this back and forth, what they think is going on between him and Kyrie, and what's going on between Russell and KD. Like, is it really as bad as people think it is? Because you see the narrative, oh, they're fighting behind the scenes and all, but they all look cool. Like, I get it that competitive nature comes out on the court, but are these guys that powerful now to where they can control their own narrative and have the media thinking whatever the hell they want them to think is going on between them? Because like you said, it is that AAU league. All these dudes are super tight.
Yeah.
All of
them. But you know what though? I think that shit goes out the door when it comes to business though. Like, basketball for them is business. So seconds you step on the court, yeah, I love you. You might be a great teammate, or a great friend. We step on the floor and you a trash teammate, nigga, you gotta go. Like,
yeah.
And then we always talk about, or like a lot of commentators talk about how they want to see people, or they want to see like players become want to be the man, right? But everybody shitted on Kyrie, who want to go to Boston. Like, you can't have it both ways. You can't condemn this, the super team era, the super friends era, but then shit on Kyrie because he wants to actually break that up and do something on his own.
I think we talked a little bit about this last week, but the more I'm watching stuff, I'm wondering, like, who's to say there was any beef? Maybe Kyrie just looked at it and said, I want to be a pure point guard. I want to handle the ball.
Yeah.
Because, now everybody thinks he's crazy because he left playing with LeBron, but
LeBron hard to play with.
Yeah.
Yeah. He is. He's amazing. He's also hard to play with. You can be both.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to have the ball in his hand. And I get it, for Kyrie feels he's a pure point guard. I never, even if they were beefing, whatever the case may be, I just didn't understand the backlash he got from that. It was like, so y'all mad at the people wanting to play with LeBron, then y'all mad at the people wanting to leave, not play with LeBron. Like, damn, damned if you do damn.
24-hour news cycle, like, sports is victim to that shit too. Where
and I honestly, like, I watched this take last week, and Max Kellerman said, some days we just have, it's a slow news cycle, and we just need shit to talk about. Because they were actually talking about the bar ball thing with him saying that Lonzo wasn't going to re-sign if they didn't sign his other two boys.
Actually, that's a great ass segue because we was going to get right into that next. But
we're giving him.
What did you think about him saying that shit? And the assertion that like Lonzo Ball needs to speak up.
I don't know. For me, not unless they have some type of family motive behind this shit and they think it's going to lead to something else. I don't know. I love my pops, but I'd probably tell pops, you need to chill out a little bit. Like, let me handle this. And then I'm really interested on how Magic is looking at all of this, because I've heard Magic has had conversations with LeVar telling him to chill out when LeVar was going in on Luke Walton and all of that shit. So it's like, I'm wondering if they're regretting taking him at number 2. That's the one thing I have been. Is it worth the drama that's coming along with?
I don't think LeVar Ball is a really good father. He's raised pretty good boys, and he's also a self-aggrandizing asshole. You can be both.
Yeah.
Now, to his point, like, that shit isn't even possible. They have him under contract for 4 years. Why did anybody even need to discuss it, bring it up, bring it to anybody's attention? Particularly the Lakers. Because the media, again, no U.S. reporters are following him while he was in Lithuania. So they got this shit from a Lithuanian media outlet. Why did it need to come here? Who cares? It's not even possible. And then to expect like Lonzo to address some shit that ain't even possible. Like, how do you feel about your dad riding donkeys, flying donkeys at night? Nigga, that's not possible. What you mean how I feel about it? Because both of those are just as likely.
I don't think we've ever seen a father like LeVar. You know,
Yes,
I
not to that degree. But I think that he reminds me a lot of my pops. Loud, boisterous, friendly, funny. But I think the difference is my pops, one, ain't getting fucking media attention.
Yeah.
For doing and saying the shit that he's saying. And my pops is much more low key than that. You know, he'll act the fool of the game, like he was that parent in the stands. So like I understand Lonzo. Like nigga, I remember one time I got low bridged during the game. Or I got undercut during the game on a fast break. Now he came on the court, right?
Oh,
now, I'm not entirely sure if he was there to check on me or if he was there to fuck someone up. Because it was an unnecessary play. Like I stole the ball from the nigga. Came down court on the fast break, was getting ready to go up to dunk. Low bridge.
But this is my thing. Had your father, would you have been like Lonzo and just not spoke on it and just let Pop say and do whatever he wanted to do?
Honestly, I think he's 20 years old, right? Just turned 20, maybe a couple months ago?
Yeah. Somewhere around there.
20 years old, I think most kids would be like, you know what, my pops ain't changing. He been this way my whole fucking life. And me saying to him anything to him isn't gonna make a difference. And the only people that it would make a difference to would be maybe like the public, but public don't play with him. I would be more interested to know like he says to his teammates, like about his pops, because that shit shouldn't get out the locker room. Right? Like that should just be. So I'm more interested to know how his teammates feel about it, and if they've been addressed about it, because a lot of shit he says is uncalled for.
But do you think it's going to make his NBA career harder? Because we saw what happened his first game with Patrick Beverley, put clamps on that boy, and it's so that his father's running around talking about he's the best thing since sliced bread.
He might fuck around and be. I don't think that look, he is in his first year as a rookie. Save for LeBron, who was that fucking consistent, and we said this person is going to be an absolute superstar in the last 20 years. Maybe AI, who had an amazing rookie season. Anyone else just come out blazing a rookie season? Brandon Ingram is the leading scorer. Is looking like a gem right now.
Blazing his rookie year.
Yeah, he was looking like think about Brandon Ingram last year. That nigga looked lost. Me and Sherelle went to go see the preseason game with them against the Blazers, and it was dope because it ended up going into OT last year. But every time he walked on the court as a rookie, he looked lost. Like I was genuinely concerned. It wasn't like it was the look on his face, his body language. Like he just looked like he didn't know what the fuck to do there. Not a nigga balling. He put on weight. He had a little time to mature and understand the NBA schedule and the lifestyle of an NBA player, because that's honestly the biggest adjustment for most players. It's still a fucking game. The speed increases. You know, the degree of difficulty of the shots you're going to get increases. But ultimately, it's the change on your life, your day-to-day life that has the biggest impact on you. That's why you see rookies who like sit out their first year, like Ben Simmons, Blake Griffin. They come back because they've learned, right? They've been, hey, well, how often do you practice when we're
well, Ben Simmons was this year, wasn't he?
Exactly. But he still got to understand the routine, right? Because even if you're not doing it, you start seeing vets like, hey man, how do you prepare what do you usually eat after or before a game, so that you're not too full or not too, what usually works for you. The shit that you would ask any other coworker, right? A senior coworker would have been there, little tips and tricks of the trade.
But I think I look at sports like football. I think you get a rookie quarterback that comes out of college. He's expected to hit the ground running and be a superstar as soon as he gets out there. But I remember years ago, where you would draft a quarterback and he would sit there for 2 or 3 years before he got on the court. And I think it's the same thing with the NBA. You know, I know Magic came out of college and hit the ground running and was a superstar his first year, but it's like.
But he also had Cap. He also had the reigning league MVP. You know, it wasn't like he was doing it on his own.
Nah, but Kareem was on the downslide though.
In '79? No, '88 maybe.
Well,
like, he was past his prime, yeah, but his prime.
Yeah, I mean, he was. I'm not saying he wasn't balling, but Magic had to come in there and take over.
Well, in the finals, yeah, and that was, and again, to his credit, he's the exception and not the rule. But most rookies don't perform like they're expecting Lonzo to perform. It just don't happen.
So, do you think they're expecting too much out of Lonzo this first year?
I don't think the Lakers are. Magic's already said that he's performing up to their standards, and I think that they have a pretty low expectation of him in his first year.
But why is the rest of the world expecting Lonzo to be a superstar? Because his daddy told him.
Because they're listening to his daddy and not to Magic. Who should you be taking basketball advice from? This nigga daddy or Magic fucking Johnson?
That is true. But LeVar's the same nigga that came out and said he could beat Michael Jordan one-on-one. Like, when he said that, I'm like, this nigga's crazy. Like, or if he's not crazy, he's an entertainer. Like,
yeah, he's doing this shit for entertainment purposes.
Yeah, like, and then the fact that it took up so much new, I'm like, so we're really gonna sit here and debate if LeVar Ball could beat Michael Jordan? Like, first of all, LeVar was in the league for a year or two. Did he play ball? He played
practice squads. My memory serves me correctly. He didn't really play.
They said nigga like average 2.5 points a game, some shit like that. Like. There's no footage of this nigga playing basketball, I don't think.
Not really, no.
But the fact that this nigga could come out and say, I can beat Michael Jordan, and people actually debated that shit was like...
Again, because they ain't got shit else to talk about. That's what it boils down to. It's a 24-hour news cycle. It's kind of damaging in that respect. Like, it's dope because you get to see commentary. But
that's shit. I guess maybe it is. There ain't a whole lot of shit going on.
Yeah, I mean, they don't even talk about the Lakers unless Lonzo's playing barely.
That is true.
Think about how many times the Lakers have been covered this year that didn't involve Lonzo Ball.
Yeah, because even the coverage when is Lonzo coming back?
Yeah, exactly.
And the trade, of course, getting. What's the name? Just sending them to Cleveland, but other than that, you're right. They haven't been covered.
No. All right.
Anyway,
so let's get to the second half of this.
Motherfucking Black Panther.
Black Panther hashtag. We gonna call this episode Wakanda versus everybody. Because
so we're giving out spoilers, so we need to tell the people there'll be some spoilers. And shit.
That's true. Hold up, I'm gonna put like big ass. I don't know, some big ass words or some like spoilers, nigga. Wait, hold on, spoilers.
So we don't need no shit. When y'all say, "Oh, y'all niggas think about spoilers," we done told you.
Yeah, I respect your right to not want the movie spoiled for you. I also feel like I seen that shit 3 times now, and I'm gonna talk about that shit, nigga. I don't give a fuck. Like,
you got a problem? I'm just gonna let Ricky cuss you the fuck out because that's more his style.
Nah, but so there's been a lot of conversation.
Okay, let's talk about the movie. What did you think about the movie before we start going into the?
It was amazing. There were so many different layers to the movie, and one of the ones that I was looking forward to most, and I was like just doing thought experiments, right, where I just sit there and play this shit out, right?
Yep.
But what if there was an African nation that was never touched by white supremacy, had the means to actually become a world power, and had arguably the most powerful weapon on the planet Earth, and we're responsible for keeping it out of the wrong people's hands, which a lot of people don't like. We'll get into this later, but a lot of people had an issue with whether or not they should have been as secretive about their society as they were. And so, like, I played all this shit out in my head. So when I watched the movie, it was lovely to see. It was a good breakdown of what that might look like. and just the internal struggle that would cause with the rest of the world finding that out, particularly black, because Killmonger is involved.
Okay, so let's go there. Killmonger shows back up. He's had all this military special ops training. He wants to retake the throne to basically give out these weapons of destruction to black people all across the world to overthrow white supremacy. At least that's how I took it. I don't know if you took it.
That's what his stated goals were at some point during the movie when he's talking to the royal court after he takes over, and before when he challenges T'Challa. But everybody forgets the line at the end when they fighting in on the train track.
Yeah.
The world took everything from me. I'm gonna return the favor. That don't sound like saving black people. That sounds like causing anarchy. And then go back and reframe his actions, and you start to see, oh shit, that's anarchy. Because what does he do? He does what you do to invade any country. You strike when a change of power happens. You immediately undermine the new position in power. He has an opportunity to challenge for the throne, so he takes it and is able to secure the power. But then, not only do you do that, you what's the word I'm looking for? You cut off the source of your power, and when he starts burning the sacred herb, right?
Well, see, that's that point right there. That's when I said he's a villain. Like, we can talk all of this shit about, oh, he wasn't a villain. No, you were a villain, because if your goal was to, help the world and also preserve Wakanda, basically you're saying when I die, Wakanda dies with me. Like, that's some villain shit.
And not just, but not only that, but if he is he's a military tactician. He's been on JSOC operations. He's worked for the CIA. Like, anybody who's that skilled of a military tactician knows that the only reason you burn something that you destroy something that powerful is if you don't want anyone else to have access to it. Now, that's the most fucking powerful weapon that Wakanda actually has. I would think. I think it's more powerful than the vibranium. But there can be an argument made. It's without question one of the top 3 weapons that they have.
But if you take the vibranium away from Wakanda, basically what you got is another strong ass nigga running around here as a superhero.
Yeah, but then you have an army of them, and not only
but see,
he turned an entire garden.
They have to be part of the bloodline. If anybody else takes that, it poisons them.
Does it?
So, yeah.
Did they make that clear in the movie?
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's like actually part of the comic, but like
that's how it is in the comic as well. The heart-shaped herb can only be taken by people in the Black Panther bloodline. So if anybody else takes it, because I thought the same shit. I'm like, well, damn, nigga, let me get some. Like, shit, let's see with everybody. But it has to be. That's why Killmonger was able to take it, because he's actually part of the Black Panther royalty. So that's shit didn't kill him off.
Right, but the Panther tribe aren't the only ones that have rights to that herb. Remember, because the whole point of the challenge, right, is that if you win, you become the leader of Wakanda, and then you get that herb, which is why they went to go give it to M'Baku, so that he could take it. So again, it's
maybe they strayed a little bit off the comic. So So let's stay.
I mean, they did. Let's just to kind of feed the story, and that's the other thing too, is people are confused on like what actually happens in the comics for what happens in the movie. Like, you can't do that because they're 2 different mediums. They're actually 2 different universes, right? Because you get, like, Black Panther is part of the MCU. A lot of shit happens in the MCU that doesn't happen in the comics, or doesn't happen the same way, because they're telling a different story with a different narrative.
Okay. So again, but would Wakanda, of course, if you look at it like that, without the vibranium, Wakanda wouldn't be as technologically advanced as it is now. So, and the only reason the heart-shaped herb even grows is because the vibranium.
Well, yeah.
And
the comet, yeah. So, but it's one of those things where it's part and parcel, right? It's part of it's one of their most powerful weapons. And I would argue it's probably responsible for a lot of the technological advances because you get, you're smart. You're super intelligent too, so that might have helped. But
But I like the fact that they didn't play on that to make it seem like the only reason this nigga's smart is because he's taking a heart-shaped herb.
Yeah.
His sister Shuri is technically the smartest person in Wakanda.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even than he is, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so we look back at the way they set up Killmonger's basically his origin story, what happened to him as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And then people brought that up and was like, well, that's why he was. Every villain has that backstory to kind of make you feel a little sorry for him. Like, I don't know any villain that doesn't have that kind of backstory. It may not be the same. Something bad happened to them that put them on the path that they're on.
Yeah. I think maybe Joker's the only real exception because he's just a sociopath. And, like, he has two different origin stories, but them shits aren't really even origin stories. Just so shit they made up after.
So, young Eric grows up, finds his father dead. What my thing was he able to put two and two together when he found his father dead and seeing the spaceship up in the sky? Like, I'm assuming I guess him and his father had them talk, so he knew where his father was from.
Yeah.
So he knew about Wakanda and all of that stuff. So he was privy to that. It took me a minute to put that together. Like, first of all, how the hell did he put all this shit together at like 8 years old? Like, nigga, I'm finna grow up and go to Wakanda and get my throne back. Hey, nigga, you a pretty smart 8-year-old there. However old that nigga was. Yeah. I do like the fact how Coogler, like, that nigga made that shit so Oakland. When I heard the Too Short come on, I was like, oh, this nigga. Yeah. I love touch on it. So how he kind of put his hometown on I ain't gonna say on the map, but made it part of the story. So that part was cool. But so now we're having a discussion. Is Killmonger really a villain?
Yeah, he does specific shit like this. Sorry, every villain or most villains, again, like you said, they have that backstory that makes you sympathize with them. And with a lot of black people, particularly Hoteps, that feeling of like anger and abandonment, and how he deals with that anger and abandonment through violence and through manipulation, they identify with that shit. Like, his plan is completely impractical in the universe in which he lives in. Nigga, Doctor Strange. This nigga could stop time. You don't think he can just walk into Wakanda and grab you and every fucking weapon if he wanted to? Like, come on. It wasn't really plausible. It was just a tool. It was just a plan to, like, blow some shit up. He wanted to watch the world burn from the best seat in the house, and that was the Wakandan throne.
But I think the Hoteps are looking at it from the standpoint of feeling like we need to overthrow white supremacy at all costs. And I think that's why they relate to him in the way that they do. And they're not looking at anything else. They're just looking at the standpoint of him wanting to empower black people.
Because they think they woke with their lucid dreaming. Because that's a shallow ass expectation to have.
But when you look at it, it's the same reason why so many Hoteps said, don't go see Black Panther. Y'all niggas about to spend $300, $400, $500 million to go see a movie when that money can go back into the community. It's the same fucking shit. Like,
can't have it both ways. Was you being serious then, or was you being serious now? Because
that's my point on all of this shit. So it's like, so now I just saw a piece, matter of fact, and let me see who posted this. But the article is basically saying, is Killmonger a villain? Yeah, we know he's an antagonist, but is he an actual villain? Was he doing the right thing? Did T'Challa screw everything up? No, was Wakanda in the wrong for wanting to basically keep themselves isolated for so long?
And you know what? I think that a lot of us, especially like black folk, African Americans, however the fuck you want to say it today, we operate off this assumption that Wakanda could have done it. and actually been successful, and I don't know that that's the case. As a
They
real,
could
like, if you
stay
start to play
isolated.
that out, like, for example, let Killmonger's plan run through, like, just as a thought experiment. What happens
Okay.
next once they get those weapons?
It's basically going to start a fucking war. Like you said,
It's gonna
everything is
start
going to fucking
the
burn.
war because white supremacy is so embedded in every major quote unquote developed nation in the world that you would have to go to war with the whole world, almost literally. And not only that, but you'd also have to be concerned about your allies, because anyone who would ally with you might end up being a fucking enemy in the long run once they see what technology you have and want to covet it for themselves anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that line, all skin folk ain't kinfolk?
Yeah, just ask the Black Panther Party about that shit.
Like, exactly. All this, but and think about it. He failed to learn the one fucking lesson that his dad died for, right? Like, his dad trusted the wrong white dude. Got Wakabi's parents killed. Which I cannot for the life of me understand why T'Challa doesn't fucking bring that up when they're all in the chamber. Cause like, that's an easy way to undercut his ass. Like, you show up here demanding, on the strength of your royal blood that took Wakandan lives, that was responsible for Claw getting what he got. Sure, you're more than welcome to, after you face punishment for your crimes, because you kidnapped him from us. So after you face punishment for that, I'm happy to fight you, nigga. Catch this fade. Like, but then you don't have like this really quick transition of power, which the movie, needed in order to move forward.
Yeah. But when you look at his father, I'm talking about Killmonger's father.
Right.
He was pretty much on it. He felt like when he sold the vibranium, it wasn't because he was just trying to be an ass. He just thought, wasn't his feeling about it that we need to share this technology with the world and all of that shit. He didn't just sell it just for the fuck of it, though, did he? I thought it was more.
He was doing it for good intentions, but the best intent, the way to hell is paved with the best intentions, is it not?
That is true.
So, and everybody was. I think the other problem I had was like, everybody's like, oh well, T'Challa didn't want to do anything right, or before they even fought the first time, he was like, this is your last time. He was like, it's your last chance. We can handle this another way.
Yeah.
No, he wanted power. He didn't want to follow anything. He was only interested in keeping and retaining his power. He showed that over and over. Like, what happens if M'Baku comes up to challenge him 3 days from now, or 3 days after? What you think he gonna say? And that's probably the reason the Jabari tribe hopped in, right? Because they still Wakandans. Like,
yeah, they felt slighted from the jump.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, you were the first king that's ever came up here to visit us. And then the fact that T'Challa whooped that nigga's ass again.
But even then, like, that was the other thing that I think, like, they painted M'Baku as seeing, is that T'Challa is at least reasonable and merciful.
Yeah.
He'll fuck you up, but he's at least merciful. What do you tell him? Yield. Your people need you. He could have killed his ass.
True.
He still would have been Black Panther either way. But again, T'Challa, at least throughout the movie, generally has an understanding, or reasonable understanding, of what the fuck is actually going on and what's best for the country of Wakanda, which is ultimately his only responsibility.
Yeah, I mean, because when you go back in the beginning, when he first, and I'm drawing a blank here, what is Lupita's character's name in the movie?
Nakia.
Nakia. When he first got up, when Nakia told her he wanted her to stay, and she said, she's basically a spy. She's going out trying to help everybody. And she felt like that Wakanda had resources,
right,
that can help people. And he was hell-bent on, like, can't do it. Like,
but at least he could hit, but that kind of pressure versus, like, actually, I feel like Nakia was the nigga that people want Killmonger to be. If we're gonna be 100 about it, like she was the actual revolutionary,
Yeah.
and she was able to sway. She was able to sway uh, T'Challa after he found out what was going on. What she tell him? You get to decide what kind of king you gonna be.
Yeah.
He found out like all this shit. Like a lot of the conflict happens so fast in the movie that you forget that it's also happening like within a day in time. So he never actually has any real chance to sit down and figure out, okay, well, fuck, maybe we do need to do something. Look what they did to my,
It was more towards the end when he had that second meeting with his father. They had the whole discussion about leaving Eric behind and all of that shit.
Right.
That's when I think it dawned on him, like, okay, things have to change. Like, we gotta.
I think it dawned on him before that, though.
I didn't bring him back, though, right? Because he didn't want an outside Wakanda.
Well, I think he came to that conclusion earlier. It's just that so much shit, like, between the time that Killmonger shows up, they still in the field talking. They get to the throne, and you have that scene. Then you have the fight scene. Like all that shit happens back to back to back to back. When did he ever actually have a chance to implement or try to do anything after he found out what happened? It wasn't until he was brought back to life, because after the fight, he was dead or in a coma, so he wasn't talking to nobody. So his first real interaction with his father is his first real chance to like have anything to do. Killmonger painted him into a corner because he got a little prideful and accepted the challenge when all he had to do was just tell him to go fuck off. And he got his ass whooped in the process. But like he said, he was like, right before they fought, we can handle this another way. Like he fully understood what was taken from him.
Yeah. So okay, let's just play around with it. Had he went ahead and beat Killmonger, never lost the throne, do you think he would eventually got to the same point as far as opening up Wakanda without having that second meeting with his father and actually getting that question answered as to why you killed his father and then left him behind? Because that was the whole thing. They didn't want any outsiders, or what they felt like were outsiders in Wakanda, because it painted the picture that the king's whole job is to keep Wakanda safe. Fuck all this other shit. Like, we only worried about. And so I think T'Challa looked at it more from a standpoint, had you had brought him home, we wouldn't be dealing with the shit we're dealing with now, had you been open to letting the outside world in.
Well, not only that, but like, I don't see anything like T'Chaka killed his brother as he was trying to, because his brother was so mad, just like his son ends up doing, being so prideful about being caught up being wrong. Because I don't give a fuck about your intentions if your outcome is not only shitty but abusive.
Yeah.
Like, so sure, you may have had good intentions, and maybe I don't think Killmonger did. I think his father did.
So do you? Okay, I get what you're saying. So is it like, do you think just what happened to his father, then everything else he went through, with all the killings and all of that stuff, they kind of redirected his path and kind of took him off that path? Or he was just a fucking individual. I'm just saying, had he not, but I guess had he not
took that boy home.
Yeah,
that's bottom line. And like I feel like the only real admirable like black male is T'Challa in that sense, because everybody else kept that fucking secret and left that boy alone to fend for himself.
Yeah.
In Oakland, nigga. Because they don't say much about his mother, so you generally you just kind of are left to assume that she's not there, because clearly he grew up pretty fucked up. Or at least, even if she was there, she didn't understand what was going on with him and to what degree. Because
well, he made it out of there, because I don't know if they talked about it in the movie, but Killmonger was highly educated. Yeah, just
highly educated. But you just don't leave an 8-year-old to fend for themselves. When you killed their father, maybe even rightfully so. Because again, he drew down.
Yeah.
You know, you trying to kill somebody who was doing their job, like watching you just to make sure that you could be trusted, and you fucked up. Cause like all this shit goes a lot differently if don't nobody get hurt, right? When Claw attacks the first time. Less of an incentive to really be that upset. Everything would be cool if like Killmonger's plan would actually have worked. But odds are if you play that shit out, it wouldn't. If we're being honest, without any heroes, you still run the risk of causing like a holocaust, a nuclear holocaust, because white people.
But and that's my whole point. Even going the route that T'Challa ends up going, like, okay, cool, you opening up schools in Oakland, you doing all this and I get it, you opening the world up to what. But my thing is, eventually, not unless they're not sharing everything and they have ways to re-engineer their stuff to protect themselves, but eventually,
but of course I would. That's what you do.
You're setting yourself up for a future shitstorm, because white people are going to try that shit, and they're going to, at the end of the day, you have this lifetime supply of vibranium. Everybody's figuring out how this shit, they're going to want that vibranium. That's why the motherfuckers is taking over Africa now, because they want all the natural resources that Africa has. It's the same shit.
But if you give, like, this is the other problem I have with Killmonger's quote unquote plan. Like, nigga, you only sent weapons?
Yeah.
Like, you didn't send things that would actually help people build their own, and then also weapons to defend that which they build. You just sent them there to destroy. Like, that's the only. You didn't give them the tools to build. You gave them the tools to destroy. So what did you really want them to do?
So I guess when you break it down, that all that liberating black people shit sounded good, but that wasn't his real objective at the end of the day.
Not when you look at his actions and the fact that like they paint him as a skilled military tactician that makes very flawed military tactical mistakes. They're either very flawed military tactical mistakes, or he's lying. Like.
Yeah, and that's why I brought up. I posted that the line he said as he's dying, he was like, "Nah, throw me in the ocean with my ancestors who jumped off ships," because even they knew it was better to die than live in bondage. Now that I think about that, I think that was more of a shot to T'Challa, not some poignant shit he's just saying trying to be deep. It was like, while y'all niggas sat over here all secluded and shit from the rest of the world, the rest of these Africans, I think it was more of just his last dying parting shot at T'Challa and Wakanda. Sure. Now that I really think about it.
Yeah, because it wasn't all that noble.
It wasn't to liberate black people. Because exactly like you said, that wasn't, at the end of the day, let's say that was his thought process, that shit wasn't going to happen. Like you said, it was basically going to start a fucking world war.
Which maybe you win, but at what cost? You win the war and you end up having to rebuild from a world destroyed by, the fact that, because again, we talking about white people all over the world, not just here. So Russians who've greatly profited and benefited from white supremacy. You don't think they would launch a nuke before they let their homeland be taken? Like, really? These are people. They show up with tiki torches, threatening to burn shit down. You don't think they're willing to use a nuke? I don't know. And unless they got technology to shut that shit down, I don't really know how you shut down a nuke. But again, all this shit's sci-fi anyway. But when you start trying to play it out to like logical conclusions, you just kind of see it. The odds are that shit was gonna fail. I would have loved to see it work in a way that was like actually productive. You play that shit out.
How and again, we're talking like But in that instance, how do you not only protect Wakanda, but then also open yourself up to the world and not set yourself up for some more shit later on down the line, though? Because, like you said, with white people, and white
But
people
that's the
not.
thing is you help build black communities. That's why you start in Oakland. That's why you start in those disadvantaged areas so that they catch on faster. They have the ability to lead in those fields.
That went right
Then,
from Oakland to the United Nations and told them motherfuckers we about to share all this shit with y'all.
they didn't say all of it. Hold on, nigga. We said we gonna share. It's just like when somebody come to your house, nigga. You give them your best beer, the last one. That's all you don't, nigga. You give them the fucking natty ice. Like, hey man, my bad. I forgot to run to the store. This all I got. You don't give me your good shit. Not if you wanted the last, right?
Yeah.
So I would imagine, a country that powerful saying, look, we need to devise ways that we hide certain parts of our technology while also giving away technology that can help the world, but more specifically people who look like us and the people who are taken. It's not about white people not benefiting from it. It's about black people benefiting from it so much that even though white people benefit, black people are able to catch up. Okay. And to defend themselves and to hold their own.
And that was my other thing. When you really think about it, I would think Wakanda as a whole, or whoever, T'Challa, whoever, is smart enough to know, okay, we can share certain shit, but at the end of the day, if they happen to turn this shit around on us, we got a way to protect ourselves.
Yeah.
So,
and you do have, he has like his little sister is the fucking best inventor in the fucking world, arguably. So, he in good company.
That is true. Okay, so I think we've already set the fact that Killmonger is not a fucking hero. He would have basically did more damage than he did good in the long run. And then also, you fuck up Wakanda in the end, because once your black ass dies, there's never going to be another fucking Black Panther, because you burned that shit down and took it with you.
Yeah.
So again, like you said, if
that's
it's planned,
how you maintain power, right? That's not how you save black people. That's how you maintain your power, is by destroying everything that would allow anyone else to be equal to you.
Yeah, so that alone shows that he's not a fucking hero, because you would want to keep that alive to pass that down like it's been passed down for thousands of years.
So that black folks would be able to continue
to defend
themselves. Like, again, this nigga. But
well, Nick, when I die, y'all good luck. No, he's basically telling them, when I die, y'all niggas fuck. So
basically. But I feel like the whole like theme of one of the underlying themes of the movie was like trust black women.
That is
and
true.
You could actually see that in how like there's a stark difference in how T'Challa and Killmonger like dealt with women. Women, just like anybody else for Killmonger, was fucking disposable. They were disposable just like anyone else. Mm-hmm. T'Challa held women in high regard. I mean, it's not really like a secret or anything, or something I have to point to. Yeah. I don't even know if that's a spoiler. Shit.
I mean, when you look at it, the way they set that story up, had it not been for the women he surrounded himself with, he'd be fucked.
Yeah, and he followed his father's advice. That's the other thing that like shows a stark contrast between them two. Are the conversations that T'Challa has with T'Chaka and the conversations that Killmonger has with N'Jadeka. Okay. Like they just like the way that they did the cinematography for it, where they have Killmonger going, transitioning from a boy to a man to a boy to a man, showing it like he's still hurt, he's still holding on to, what happened to his father, and then the amount of delusion, right? Because he was like, they'll say you're lost, and he was like, well, maybe they're the ones who lost. That's why they can't find us. That's 8-year-old logic, nigga. You still working off 8-year-old logic.
Yeah.
Because the reality is, they weren't lost. They had a responsibility to the rest of the world that, like, a lot of people underscore. But the reason that they are so powerful is because they have the most powerful tool in the world and the most powerful resource in the world. And it's a resource that if got out, if it spread too far, could be a problem. Like,
Yeah.
think about it. They gave, what was his name? Like, Captain America's whole shield ain't even made of vibranium, nigga. Like, they gave him enough to make, like, a shield with some additional. It's like iron and vibranium.
Yeah.
He ain't even got a whole ass vibranium shield. They stingy for good reason.
Yeah. I mean,
when Cap shield got into the wrong hands. like, there's motifs where, like, I don't know that I blame Wakanda. It's an understandable thing, and but it's also just as understandable for him to be hurt.
Yeah.
It's just what he does with that hurt is what separates what make characters villains and what make characters heroes or anti-heroes or whatever.
Because I think a lot of black people are looking at Killmonger and I get it. We as black people would love to get rid of white supremacy and all of that shit. I think we get tunnel vision on that shit though. So when we look at a guy like Killmonger, we'll put him on a pedestal because we're looking at him like, this nigga wants to empower black people, and
he's saying all the right things.
Yeah, so it's like, I think that's why he's been put on this pedestal, because a lot of black people, that's what we want to get rid of white supremacy, but then they're not looking at it at the way he went about it and the hurt that was going to do.
That's what he remind me of. He remind me of like the black male feminists that get exposed all the time. When they find out that they just using like feminism to be like predatory.
Yeah.
Because he was using that logic. Again, at the end of the movie, he clearly states what his end goal was.
Mm.
So you have to work, when you then consider the rest of his options, you have to work back off that assumption. It sounded great. Like, I was excited when I heard him say that shit. I was like, yeah, where the fuck were y'all? Part of me was like that. On the other hand, it's like, well, nah, nigga, you just saying that to get your way. You know what I mean? Like, it's like those dudes who be like, send me news. No, I'm not really comfortable with that. Oh, well, if you really body positive, you wouldn't have no, you just manipulating the situation. If she's not comfortable. All right. That's why I think, like, and it's hard because I root for him like I root for Hoteps. I want you to be better, bruh. Like, I want it so bad for him to just be like, you know what? I fucked up. I went about this the wrong way. I was hurt. Let me not take this big ass spear out my chest and die. If y'all can heal me, I'll accept my punishment. And I want it, but then I want an opportunity to take my place along my bloodline. Period.
Mm.
And I don't know. Maybe the last part's unreasonable considering you almost destroyed the country, but
yeah, nigga.
You got a better shot than when you're dead, nigga.
So let's talk about the Hoteps before we get out of here. The big backlash, you had so many black men creating videos basically saying that black people are puppets and slaves to the white man for going out supporting Black Panther. This is my thing. The first thing I thought is, why in the fuck can black people not be excited about a fucking movie? Like, how does that make you a sheep or a weak, brainwashed individual because you want to go see a fucking movie? And then it's like, well, y'all niggas forgetting about Flint. No, nobody's forgetting about Flint. Niggas are still fighting for Flint. So just because we go see a movie, that means we don't give a fuck about Flint or police brutality.
It was organizations donating Black Panther tickets to Flint kids, trying to fill out, like, so they don't know shit. They just be talking out their ass because they're contrarians and it makes them feel better to just have a problem with everything. Like, is everything problematic? Yes. Every genre of movie, music, film, entertainment institution has been soaked and based in white supremacy since it began. It was either birthed in white supremacy or it's developed under white supremacy. So, sure, but like, I'm not supposed to enjoy nothing, nigga? Because by that logic, the NBA, NFL, really any major sports team or sports league, shit, nigga, I can't even watch BET. Really?
Because this is my thing. Everything is set up by the white man to brainwash us and take us off our game. So if they can keep us mesmerized with Black Panthers and BET and all whatever other shit, then we're no longer fighting for our rights as people. And I call bullshit on that. Like, so basically, black people can't multitask. Like, that's basically what you're saying. We can't multitask. We can't go watch a 2-hour movie and still be concerned about shit going on in our communities.
There are 20. Look, the movie is 2 hours, 15 minutes runtime. There are 21 hours and 41 minutes or 45 minutes in the rest of the fucking day. We can do both.
And I've had this conversation with a few people, and they're just like, yo, everybody just sheep. Y'all niggas dressing up and doing all this shit and going that $500 million. Because I mean, it's basically at the end of the day, they're saying this movie could make over $1 billion. And it was just like, well, if you niggas had took that $1 billion and put that shit back in the community, we could have our own Wakanda.
No, he didn't. Do you understand what it's like? Okay, this is like the Hotep anti-Hotep financial advice. Okay, I'm gonna point something out to y'all. Black people, you know, a lot of Hoteps like to use it, or like to say that like black people in the U.S. anyway have about 1.5 and 1.8 trillion dollars in wealth, right? They love to point that out. When you do the numbers, right, when you actually put that shit to any kind of critical analysis, that is now black people make up what 13% of the U.S. population. Yep. You know how much that 1.8 or 1.6 trillion is as a percentage of the GDP.
Boom. 2 + 2 is 4. -1, that's 3. Quick maths.
What? We can build another country. Really? Really? I need to see how that works. I need like the financial breakdown. Like, how do you expect this to work from a macroeconomic perspective? Run it. I'll hear you.
This sounds like Dr. Umar Johnson. I'm gonna build a school for boys, and I got all the money, but I ain't gonna build shit. Like that's how this shit sounds to me. It's like, what are you niggas talking about? And then you ask them, well, what are you doing for the community? Oh, that don't got nothing to do. No, nigga, you sitting here telling black people they can't go watch a fucking movie, or telling them how spending money to go see this movie is making a white man rich, while you sitting here on a white man's social media platform with your iPhone and your fucking Jordans on. Like, nigga, what the fuck are you talking about?
Don't ultimately own Jordan brand. You don't own that shit outright. You know who own that shit? White people. Sorry. There is no black owned industry that is exclusively black owned. It does not exist. And that's because of socioeconomic reasons. That's because of political policies that have taken place. Like,
isn't Essence owned by black?
All that on black people. It's not. It's like it's one of those. Here's another reason for us to blame ourselves for being oppressed. That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, well, like basically, if everybody said fuck Black Panther, we'll wake up Monday morning and Black Panther flops, and the world for black people is gonna be a better place. Like, that's the shit.
La, la.
Like, congratulations, niggas! Black Panther flop. Now we're free.
Like, what? That's not how this works. Like, but they be coming up with the most mundane ass. reasons for like the reason black people ain't free. Like, what? You cook your bacon for 3 minutes on each side, nigga? See, you need to be cooking that shit for 4. That's why we ain't free. You over here undercooking your bacon.
That's because y'all niggas eating bacon. That's why y'all niggas ain't free. Letting the white man fill you full of that fucking poison. Y'all niggas dying of high blood pressure.
That's just delicious though. Like, I consider this like a risk assessment, right? I take a risk assessment on bacon, and here's my personal risk assessment on bacon. That shit is fucking delicious. It's worth it. Sure, it might add to my cholesterol. I might lose a couple years, but like, what's like, I don't know, 863 without bacon, or if I get like a cool 80, like all I need is 80 years with bacon in my life versus like 82 with without bacon, nigga. Are you serious? No.
You have 5 hoteps at your door tomorrow morning.
Shit, I got enough bacon for all of them. I will slap a hotep with bacon.
God damn.
That feels wasteful. Wasteful. I'm not gonna do that.
That good pork butt on.
I'll slap a hotep with a bacon package. I like open it and cut it open so you get like a little bacon grease. Bacon grease. Like, wait. Does he think he baby powder from how I know? No, baby powder. What? Nigga, this bacon grease. Shut up.
Alright, so basically Black Panther, I'm giving that shit 2 thumbs up and a Wakandan salute, nigga. Like even with like all the other shit out of it, it was just a well put together movie. Like
yeah, it was scored amazingly. The special effects, like, and me, I like to practice and work with special effects. Like, I was fucking drooling. That the end scene where they was playing All of the Stars as a credit scene, when they did that shit, like my mouth was wide the fuck open. I was just like, oh, I need to learn how to do that. I ain't know how to do that.
I mean, Coogler, like that nigga did that, man.
Yeah, it was very well done.
Yeah, highly impressed.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what I was expecting when I went in there. Just, you know, I think we got caught up in just the blackness of all of it. But it was just a well put together movie. And if I'm not mistaken, it wasn't even no light skinned niggas in that movie, was it?
It was like 7. Don't play with me. It was at least hold on, because I seen one. It was a light skinned Dora. It was a light skinned Dora. She was like caramel complected, but I feel like given the lighting of the movie, she might have failed the paper bag test.
I didn't see no Ricky Hine colored niggas in there.
Let me see. Hold up. It was. Damn, was it a light skinned Jabari? That's that's actually
them niggas
that shit didn't happen. No,
black.
No. Had to be one of them niggas from the merchant tribe. Light skinned niggas always try to sell you something.
I gotta go back and watch it the second time, because I remember we walked out. I was like, that was some of the blackest shit I've ever seen. There wasn't no light skinned niggas in there.
Nah, I was cool with it too. I was like, this is cool. I don't give a shit. I always see myself.
The shit has not been touched by white people, so
hey,
sitting over there.
You know what? I could have sworn I seen like a couple light skinned people. Like maybe it was just me searching, wanting, but there was a couple like extras in that waterfall scene, the fight scene. The one with M'Baku.
Yeah.
It was niggas Millie rocking. It had to be at least half a light skinned nigga.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to watch it again, huh?
Hey.
Y'all niggas allowed in Wakanda.
That's cool. I come as a refugee on a work visa.
Who let this light skinned nigga in over here? And how the fuck did he find us?
I was like, look. They were like, ain't nothing here. I know. You can just see my gums, so I just wanted to let y'all know how light skinned I was. That's all. Like,
all right, so this
veins in my gums.
So other than, are you? I take it you're a Marvel fan though. You into all the other shit?
I mean, I watched them. Yeah, I like the MCU. I've never really been a comic book person because I just don't like comic books as a medium. But whenever shit comes to like TV, Like, you know, whether it's cartoon, movies, I love to watch that shit. They're modern day mythology. That's all they are.
You checking out Black Lightning? That's some cold shit. Black
Oh,
Lightning is.
that is the blackest shit on TV.
Yeah, I love that shit. Matter of fact, that's.
I love it.
Hey, come on. Yeah, that's some cold.
Yeah.
Like, and it's got my baby mama Jill Scott in there. So yeah,
That
gets
shit is great too.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Yeah, hope y'all enjoy it. Bye.
Peace.